guys, and welcome back to me catfishing
the internet.
Obviously you can tell I'm doing a how I take, how I edit my Instagram photos. Basically how I
catfish everyone.
I'm going to explain how I take them, and then I'm going to show you in detail how I actually edit them and get them ready to be posted. What I use to actually take my photos is the Canon G7X, my iPhone 7 Plus, and my Canon 80D. So I really vary between the ones that I use. Honestly, it depends on the exposure, lighting, you know, if I have my camera with me or not. With my iPhone, I honestly don't really have any settings that I put it on. I shoot sometimes in normal photo and I shoot in portrait, but other than that, it's pretty standard photos. I don't do anything special. My iPhone 7 does a great job of capturing photos, but with the cameras you can get more of a professional look, and the thing that I like about it is having more freedom to work with lighting. On my Canon G7X, what I do is when I shoot in manual video, and basically you can control the ISO and the exposure. I'm not really sure what that word is, but something similar like that. So basically that controls how much light there's going to be, so you can turn it up, turn it down, and adjust it to how you want to shoot. My Canon 80D is a lot better quality. Well, actually not like amazingly better quality, but it is slightly better quality because it is obviously a DSLR. If I'm shooting in golden hour or like sunlight, I definitely use my iPhone 7. I find that cameras don't do well in golden hour. However, if I'm just shooting not like the best lighting, I use my cameras. But honestly, I find that all of these options work fantastically, and I honestly don't think you need a camera to be able to take high quality photos. Okay, so how I take my Instagram photos. So pretty much what I like to do personally is have a day where I take like a whole bunch of photos in a whole bunch of different outfits, and then I'm set up for 2 or 3 weeks of posting. So I take some photos at home. I take a lot of photos at home, but I also take a lot of photos out, and that is usually when I'm with Shay. So usually we'll kind of like plan to do a day out and take some photos. So I have some footage of us taking photos from today that I'm going to insert now, and this is basically kind of how I take the photos. Photo number 1, success. Photo location number 2. What the heck?
Do you want me to get it? 3, 2, 1.
So I use Lightroom. I create my own kind of like preset, and I already have it ready to go, and I usually just chuck that filter on the photo, white in the background if it needs to be, and chuck it up, and that is kind of how I edit my photos. But today I'm going to go in detail on how I created that preset. It pretty much works for all my photos. I literally spent so much money, time, and effort looking through all these
Instagram famous people's presets,
and I bought them all and I tried them out, and for my own photos
they never worked.
I don't know what it was, but they never worked for my photos. They never looked good, so I resorted to trying to make my own. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So we are going to dive straight into it. As I mentioned, we are using Lightroom, so I do actually pay to use Lightroom. I don't think you can get it for free. I'm not too sure. But yeah. So anyways, these are just some old photos. So we're going to choose this one to edit first. Drag the photo into here, and it should have selected it. So this is our base photo that we're going to work with at the moment, and I'm going to show you everything that I have done. So I'll show you the final look first. So it's just called Tiche Pre 3. And that is kind of going to be the final look. Honestly, with every single photo I do different edits too, because they're obviously all different lighting, different colors to work with. So depending on each photo, I will adjust certain things to make the photo look good. So that's before and that is after. So it kind of does just really like brighten everything, make it a lot more like white and clean. I do feel like it is probably a slight bit too fake, but this is just how I like to do it. So going through everything. Number one, I have turned up my exposure over here to plus 60. So without the exposure, if we go 0, that is what it looks like. So the exposure really just makes it look like that bright. So obviously a photo like this is already naturally quite exposed. Like looking at the original, it is naturally quite exposed and it is like a brighter photo, so I don't need to expose it too much. A lot of photos that I take that are really dark, that's when the exposure comes in handy because you can really like wipe it up, you know what I mean? If you want to make your photos very white, I would recommend downloading Facetune and using the whitening tool and just whiten the background. So my colors here, I have put the luminance of the orange down. Oh my goodness me. Oh my god. Ew. Pretty much controls your skin tone. So if you're wanting to look a little bit lighter, then that's fine. Or if you're wanting to look a little bit more tan, that works. I usually keep it around there. I don't want to make myself look quite tan when I'm literally not tan anymore. That is pretty much the only colors that I'm going to work with in this particular photo. When I work with like blue skies, which I'm going to show you guys how I work with like the blue skies and stuff in a minute, but for a very simple standard photo like this is pretty much all I will do. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how I edit a photo with a blue sky, anything like that. So this is quite an old photo, so I looked a lot more tan. And this is the original photo. This was obviously taken in golden hour, so it was a nice clean canvas. I love shooting in golden hour because it just really sets the photo up. You honestly don't really need the edit. It's just like a few tweaks here and there and you're sorted pretty much. So anyways, this is the original photo and then this is it with the preset on. My exposure's not as high because it was with the sun, so I didn't want it to be too bright and it was already in a bright thing. With the greens, obviously if you want it less greeny, you can kind of take away the saturation. More greeny, bring it up. So the one we're going to focus on is the sky. So I'm going to go into the blue one. This is how you make your sky the color you want. So the more greeny, if you go down this way, your sky becomes a lot more of a greeny tealy blue. It was a lot more popular on Instagram rather than the like strong sky blue, if that makes sense. So that is pretty much how I edit blue skies. Obviously, yeah, you can kind of play around whether you want it more blue, more green, more tealy, more purple, whatever you want. Now I'm going to show you how I edit in yellow backgrounds. So I like my feed to be quite white rather than like the yellow walls. So I'm going to show you how I do a yellow wall kind of edit. Okay, so this is a photo. I'm going to show you how to get rid of more of the yellowy tones and have more of a bright white effect. Beware though, if you have blonde hair, blonde highlights, this does take it out a lot and it makes it more kind of silvery, as you will see. So this is the edited version. Obviously you can tell my hair has gone, obviously you can tell my hair has gone a lot more grey than the blonde. Yeah, so that is pretty much just taking out all these yellow tones and making them more of a whitey silver look. So pretty much how I did that is, so we're going to go into the original one. So if, yeah, you go into yellow, any kind of thing you don't want a colour of, all you have to do is use your picker and you kind of go through and like whatever colour it is. So let's choose that, you know, you go on saturation and you can just pull the saturation down. So that is how you get rid of like yellow tones, anything like that. I'm sorry if that was a really bad way of explaining it, but that is just how I edit my photos. I do have just like a set kind of preset. You can copy those numbers if you want, but that's kind of my set preset. And anytime I take a photo, I just chuck that filter on it and do final little touches if there's like other colors in it or whatever. And that is it. So it's really not that hard, not that confusing or whatever. I just thought I would let you guys know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post every Wednesdays and Sundays at 7:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And I'll see you guys in my next video.